They speak the commands of the master. I'm not on like a I'm not out to determine. I'm not in a determination mode. Let's put it that way. I'm not out to determine whether that individual, the church they attend, or their personal philosophy is in line with Christianity. And like in lesson 60, I go over all the actants. I go over everything that the master talks about, or most of the things the master talks about, that reveal whether or not you're really in the Christianity or not. See, in other words, you say repentance and baptism and forgiveness, and that's all you say. That's wonderful, and that may well be enough. However, we can verify. See, this is a verification process, and the verification process is based upon you and commandments, and there are quite a few commandments, and most of them deal with what? Humiliation. So if I don't hear a lot of humiliation out of you, or relative to the commandments of the Lord, then I can immediately come to a safe conclusion, and your pronouns will probably be I. I was just talking to somebody who goes to a TV preacher place, and they kept saying I. See, and then they don't speak his commands, his will. They say my will, and so we automatically know that we have a TV minion or someone who may not be saved, and we hope they are. Do you understand what I'm saying? But the verification process is speaking the commands like that I'm going to have in 60 here. And by the way, I have them in dozens of places, many of you know, in Sound Doctrine. I have them in a lot of them in. Let's look at Acceptable 67. Subverted 66, and so all Scripture is God breathed. So I have a lot of these actants and the core of the agreement to serve God. I have them in my lessons, but it's not what I always talk about. Like lesson 31, soul food. I focus on these main scriptures over and over again, but I give you a slightly different viewpoint on them. Okay. And I'm happy about that. I'm happy that we are focusing, on the core ideas of Christianity, which are commandments. And like I said, when I hang around people and I meet people, no matter who they are, and they are affiliated with any church, I'm looking for commandments from them. You see what I'm saying? We're not on a witch hunt. You understand that? I'm not here to go on some sort of witch hunt. The witches of Salem or something. No. It's just that what it is what it is. To put it in the old terminology, you should own something that the master said that you should own. That's just that simple, right? Now, we're headed to 13, which is Matthew 6:11, and I wanted to talk about avaricious and rapacious. I want to talk about acquiring things excessively or in excess and receiving beyond what you need. And that's bad stewardship. It's bad stewardship for you to receive more than you need for daily bread and to hold on to it. And that's the whole point here. You have to really be careful with that. And we're going to get into that right now. I'm going to stop probably right here, and we're going to move on to 89D next, okay? Let's check our time. We should be ready for part 4, and we're going to stop probably right here. Let's take a look. And we'll get to Matthew 6:11 next. Apparently, we are already on. Jeremiah has been in error. That's okay. We have 2 videos going into each other. That's okay. We'll do that, and we'll check them out. If they aren't satisfactory, I'll take them off for you. I apologize, but I got a little bit of my dad in me. That apostolic preachers, they just go, and it's wonderful. God uses everybody in general who has an honest heart and who make errors in their teachings and so forth. I have been affiliated with 4 pastors in my life, playing piano and helping in the ministry as assistant ministers and servants. That's what minister means. And I don't think any one of them really. All of them were married, and I don't think any one of them were like Paul in many ways. They weren't full-time, guys. They were very good teachers, but I saw a few things that I wish that I didn't see in terms of their teachings. I think they were basically sound doctrine teachers, and they're wonderful, but we won't go into that right now. So we are on D, and I apologize. This is the greedy bunch, and this is part 4, or 89D. And that's it. So we're going to go to 5 o'clock or something. So let's go. I wanted to get into Matthew 6:11, which gets into give us this day and our daily bread, and lay not up for yourselves treasures on the earth. And that goes from that's Matthew 6:11, 6:19, and in this area. We're going to stay right there. We might go to verse 33 and verse 20, etc., but we're in that chapter. We're going to stay there, okay? For this segment, and this is huge, and I want you to pay attention. Avaricious and rapacious, it means you're getting more than you need, and you're receiving beyond what you need. Now, you can receive more than you need and acquire more than you need, which is what avaricious and rapacious means. Stewardship is based upon how you handle it, and what you should seek. Now, if you do get more, you're going to have to disperse it, and as far as what you're seeking, that's why you pray, give us our daily bread. See, and then the master says. Then the master says, lay up not for yourselves treasures. So any 4th to 8th grader in the United States who understands basic grammar and syntax, you should know that what's being said here in chapter 6 and elsewhere is, in Luke 6, that you should know right away that what the master is saying is you don't need to store anything up. He's going to provide for you on a daily, weekly basis, monthly. You do not have to store up anything. He doesn't necessarily want you to do basically any storing. That's quite obvious. Now, you may have to save money for a car or something like that, or somebody might give you an inheritance or something, and whatever. But the bottom line is that excessively acquisition on an excessive level and receiving beyond what takes you out of a low estate. You do not want to get out of a low estate. That's quite obvious for a 4th grader who reads the Bible. Now, I've had a lot of 4th graders who understand what I'm saying. Why do 98% of the adults I talk to miss what we're talking about here? Not just here, but in the entire Bible. So many things. Most people I talk to, they understand forgiveness in the Bible. They understand that Jesus suffered, and they understand a few basics. But outside of that, I cannot explain anything to them pertaining to the gospel, hardly at all. The reason why is because they put up a block when it comes to being educated into the Lord's commandments. And I know the devil has something to do with that, brainwashing, television, etc. We won't go into that, but there's something wrong. And why 90% of a group of people don't get it. Simple grammar. And let's stop the lesson for a moment. Let's have an interlude here. Let's change the subject just a little bit here. Parenthetically speaking, whatever they call it. The idea here is, when you watch Sherlock Holmes, for example, what is Sherlock Holmes telling Dr. Watson? Over and over again. He tells him you're missing the obvious. He says it's elementary. So what the author or Sherlock Holmes is saying is that most people are lazy-minded. Because the mud on his shoes are right there in front of you, and it's red. So you should know that he just came from a place where there's red mud. But you looked at the shoes in the red mud, and you just saw maybe muddy shoes, and your mind moved on, as opposed to thinking about the mud you just saw. So what's being said is that people are lazy-minded in general. Now, when people go to their job, they have a tendency to turn their brain on a little bit, because there's money involved, and they think about paying bills and wanting money and so forth. But when it comes to Christianity, they tend to think their mind off, because they don't see any immediate return financially or mammon-wise. And that's one thing, but I'm going to let that subject go. I wanted to point out to you that people just don't think that much in general. Now, fortunately, when people go to their jobs, when they drive a bus, whatever, they concentrate on their job. And they concentrate on what they're supposed to do. But as far as their day-to-day life goes and how they view the world, they shut their mind off, and they just relax, and they become amusement park people, or amuse, which means don't think. They just relax and enjoy basketball or something. The ball bounces, and they watch the bouncing ball like children. And like Sherlock Holmes, I am a frustrated thinker, and as a Bible teacher, and that's just the way it is. And when I mention stuff, for example, when I in this lesson here, and the lesson I'm working on also right now, 60, which should be 60, I might change it, but which is actants, or the 20 basic principles of denial that the Master has commanded you to do. He who hates his life, he keeps his life. Well, how many people have you seen in the grocery store said, "I hate my life" T-shirts? The Master told me to hate my life. You probably haven't seen anybody. But did the Master command you to do that? Yes, he did. See, so what we got is we have this convenient thing going on where I'm conveniently leaving things out that are uncomfortable for me, and it's not good, because most of the gospel is to present myself as allowing myself to be uncomfortable for the Master. So you get the point? Let's get back to the lesson, Jermaine. Matthew 6:11. Give us this day. So, no, give me 10 years. Let's go back to the lesson here. Let's let that go for a moment. That's a little sidebar. Let's get back to Matthew 6:11. Give us this day means give us 10 years of something? Give me a lottery ticket? No, daily bread is daily bread. You're not supposed to be avaricious or to really receive things in large dosage, and otherwise the Master would be contradicting himself. We can see that in Matthew 6 and Luke 6. He says, don't store up. So why would he give you something to store? That's very simple fourth grade grammar. Furthermore, he says, woe to the rich in Luke 6. Why would he say woe to the rich and then tell you to expect a lot of riches in large quantities, such as I heard a TV preacher say that's what shaken down, pressed together means. It does not mean that. It doesn't mean money. No. See, the Master wouldn't contradict himself in the same chapter. He wouldn't tell you to be poor. He wouldn't tell you, the rich man, to give everything away and receive nothing in return. He said, you're going to have, you rich man, you young rich boy, you give everything you have to the poor, and then you're going to heaven. But he walked away sorrowfully because the Master told him, you're going to get treasure in return in heaven. Now I have TV preacher bozos and people I talk to, they tell me that that's not what it means, and blah, blah, blah. And unfortunately, we're encountering the apostasia here. Apostasia. We're encountering this age, this misty stuff. Instead of people walking up to you going, yes, Jeremiah, I took up my cross daily for the Lord. I get all this mumbo jumbo. Well, listen, I'm not overly emotionally involved in all of this. I'm not. I rejoice in the Mennonite people I see, the women who are clothed properly, without leotards, and not women who don't hide anything, whatever. Listen, we sound doctrine men and women, we're rejoicing in the Lord now too. We're not just posthume minded. You shall inherit the kingdom. You shall get your treasure in heaven. That's not the only thing we think about. I'm going to have dinner tonight. Give thanks for it and enjoy it. You understand? Lay not up for yourselves treasures on the earth. This is what disobedient Gentiles do. They don't belong to God. They don't want a low estate. They won't give half their money to the poor like Zacchaeus did. We might get into Zacchaeus a little later. They reject all of this. And what can we do but just say, what did Jesus say? Let's get back to the master. He said, but you. How many times did he say, but you? What he's doing is he's identifying the Pharisees and the TV preacher type, greedy, name it, claim it, get rich, mammon loving, diamond ring owning, airplane owning people. And what he's doing is he's identifying them and he's contrasting the secret agent Christian who nobody knows. That's what he's doing. Pray in secret, fast in secret, give in secret, love in secret, really love people instead of getting in front of people and saying you do, and you're not really loving anybody. You're just greedy. You're fake. See, and that's what's going on here. And the stewardship is what I mentioned in terms of you're accountable for all of this, and hopefully you're going to be at the Bema seat instead of the great white throne judgment, because there's only two places humans go. There's only two places humans go, and that's either the Bema seat or the great white throne judgment, the GWTJ. And you want to go to the Bema seat. And you go to the Bema seat by not being avaricious or rapacious or hoarding, or being a disobedient Gentile, laying up stuff, worrying about stuff, arguing. I was with some relatives a couple of years ago, and they were just going on about stuff, and they were Gentiles. They were talking like Gentiles. What they should have said was, seek ye first the kingdom of God, and I need not do anything else. It doesn't mean you have to study for a job. That's not my point. My point is, you shouldn't get emotionally involved like you're a non-believer and a Gentile. You should talk like Moses. You should talk like Abraham. That's what you should be talking like. Which is, I'm seeking the Lord. Let's relax. But you get glory when you find things on your own. That's why people do that. They want glory. That's what they want. And Jesus talks about that. I'm not going to go there right now. So we have dark eyes. We have dark souls. And they worry. They take. They steal. But Jesus said, but you. Let's go back to you again, but you. Take no thought for tomorrow, for your life. That's what we do here. We Quakers, we Mennonite types. So in the eastern part, northeastern part of the United States, we don't want any greedy safe deposit boxes, and there's no such thing as a safe deposit box anyway. And all this apostasy is just a bunch of Judases. That's all it is. And it's sad, and that's the Mason-Dixon line is, what side of the fence are you on? Are you going to the Bema seat, or are you going to the great white throne judgment? That's it. And if you're servant-minded, you're going to the Bema seat. I don't take an own worry. I'm not a Gentile. I'm a grafted in Hebrew. That's what I am. I don't believe in a safe deposit box because I don't need a safe deposit box. My safety is in trusting in the Lord. See, that's faithful. And since He loves me, it's easy to trust Him. Hey, if people love you, I trusted my parents. Now, for some of you didn't have good parents. I'm not talking about you right now. I'm talking about me right now. I had really good parents who waited on me hand and foot. So I know how to trust people. People who love you, you can trust them. And some of you don't know the love of God because you don't want to love and compassion, or the word we had up here, I might get to phileo phile, which means you love. You really like compassion as your goal in life. If somebody gave you a smile because you helped them, that's your goal. As far as money goes, you didn't even think about money because it came automatically to you. Why? Because God's going to take care of you because you made love your priority. That's all this is about. You made truth your priority. The reason why people are in these Gentile worlds is because they don't love and they're liars and they can't have peace. They can't trust in Father because they like lies. And if you like lies, God's not going to give you any peace. He's not going to give you the peace which surpasses all understanding, and you're not going to be relaxed. And you're going to keep seeking, like the rodent in the cage. You're going to keep spinning the wheels. Trusting in riches. That's the contradistinction to the charity bunch. We belong to the charity bunch here. I don't need to seek for excess. World pleasures? No, we're looking for heaven to come here. I don't want to enjoy the world. Now, I enjoy the world, but I don't seek to enjoy the world. You understand that? We're going to stop right there. Let's check our time. Jeremiah's going to stop. We're just about halfway done with the greedy bunch. And this should be D, okay? We got 7 more minutes. Pardon me for the interruption. I should be better on my timer. Sorry about that. Jeremiah's getting a little time sloppy here. We have... let's stop at 4:02 or so. Let's have about 5 more minutes. Now, daily bread. Seek daily bread. That's the point here. When you're around baby Christians or non-Christians, they have a tendency to talk about seeking something beyond daily bread. Because that's what Gentiles do. And it's sad because it's not the life that Jesus said, but you don't seek this. You don't do this. So if you have a servant mind and a child heart, and you seek to get things in return from the heart to heart, then automatically things they're coming. See, that's the whole point. And if you don't seek to love and to receive love and give truth and get truth back like a locomotive, inhale, exhale, how do you expect to be living? I'm living because I seek love and truth. I inhale love and truth, and I exhale love and truth. I inhale humility, and I exhale humility. And therefore, guess what? I'm living. I'm alive. I don't hang around dead people. They're dead who do all these things. Seeking large amounts, stealing, squeezing, usury in banks, all this stuff. We don't have to do any of that. And TV will tell you, that's why I don't watch TV about much at all. TV tells you that it's okay to charge interest. Do you know that in the Levite law of Aaron and Moses, you can't charge anybody interest who in your own home country? It's against the law. But lay up, but you, but lay up, but you. No, you seek no return. That goes to Luke 6. All we talk about is pondering how the ghost is going to build up the church in me. The earnest in me, the joy of the Lord in me. How am I going to build up the church? How am I going to bind the brokenhearted? Who's brokenhearted around here? And I want the fruits of a love soldier, and that's all I'm concerned about. The duties of a love soldier. As far as but you storing up and returns and all this is for basically people who are basically animal-minded. That's what a Gentile means. You can't teach an animal not to seek food. But you can teach a Hebrew to seek loving people and just let God give you manna from the sky. And now it's manna from scriptures and manna from what God brings to you, pressed down, shaken together, love from the heart. You know Father knows what you need. You're focusing on church actions, okay? We're going to stop right here. Jeremiah's going to stop right here. Shalom and Maranatha to you. And Maranatha, the Lord bless you and keep you and make his face to shine upon you. And that should be 89D, okay? Once again, peace. Shalom.